This video is brought to you by Uranium Energy Corp, trading on the New York Stock Exchange under UEC. UEC has more than doubled their in-ground uranium resource over the past 2 years and has also become one of only 6 uranium producers in the U.S., one of only 12 in the world. Led by Amir Adnani, who has been ranked as one of the top resource CEOs by KC Research, Amir has attracted major investors like Rick Rule of Sprott Asset Management, Li Ka-shing, the richest man in Asia, and institutions such as Vanguard and BlackRock. Learn more about Uranium Energy Corp at uraniumenergy.com or by calling 866-748-1030. Thank you for joining us at FutureMoneyTrends.com. I'm here at the KC Summit with Doug Casey and Maren Katusa of KC Research. Thank you for joining me, gentlemen. I want to talk about making money today. Of course, that's why everybody shows up to your summit. Doug, what's one of your favorite investment stories from your personal investments?
I don't know. Look, I hate private equity, which is to say buying private companies with no prospect of going public.
This video is brought to you by Uranium Energy Corp, trading on the... All right, greetings and thank you for joining us at FutureMoneyTrends.com. I'm here at the KC Summit in Tucson, Arizona, with legendary investor and speculator Rick Rule of Sprott Asset Management. Rick, thank you for joining us.
Always a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Rick, I'd like to start off with some questions that came from our subscribers. I asked them to submit questions they'd like to ask wealthy individuals. So these aren't necessarily going to be about resources. Some of them are about stock trading. But the first question is, could you do it again? If left with nothing, could you become a millionaire? Uranium Energy Corp, one of only 12 uranium producers in the world. UEC trades on the New York Stock Exchange. They have more than doubled their in-ground uranium resource over the past 2 years. They've also become one of only 6 uranium producers in the United States. Led by Amir Adnani, who has been ranked as one of the top resource CEOs by KC Research, Amir has attracted major investors like Rick Rule of Sprott Asset Management, Li Ka-shing, the richest man in Asia, and institutions such as Vanguard and BlackRock. Learn more about Uranium Energy Corp at uraniumenergy.com or by calling 866-748-1030. The 10 baggers and...
Hello, I'm Alex Daly, and welcome to another edition of Conversations with Casey. Today, our guest is former Reagan Budget Director and Congressman David Stockman. Welcome to the show, David.
Glad to be here.
So we're here in Florida talking about the recovery reality check at the Casey Summit. What do you think? Is the United States economy on the road to recovery?
I don't think we're at the beginning of a recovery. I think we're at the end.
Hi everybody, it's Suzanne Molyneux from Freedom Radio. Following this is an interview I had with the enormously affable and charming Doug Casey. He's an American-born, free market economist, best-selling financial author, and international investor and entrepreneur. He is the founder and chairman of KC Research, that's C-A-S-E-Y, a provider of subscription financial analyses about specific market verticals that he has focused his investing career around, including natural resources, metals, mining, energy, commodities, and technology. Since 1979, he has written and later co-written the monthly metals and mining-focused investment newsletter, The International Speculator. He also contributes to other newsletters, including the Casey Report, a geopolitically oriented publication, and I was enormously thrilled to get him on the show. I've really enjoyed my conversation as he spoke from the beach in Uruguay, and I hope that you will enjoy it too. Here is Doug Casey. Hi, everybody. It's Suzanne Molyneux from Freedom Radio. I am entirely honored to have the remarkable Doug Casey on the line. And Doug, I appreciate you taking the time. I'm going to pepper you with a couple of questions, but really people don't want to hear me. They want to hear you. So I think the thing...
Sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry. I was going to say I can give you my opinion, and any opinion plus $20 will get you a cup of coffee in Tokyo.
Right. Well, I think the thing that my listeners are most interested in is the argument that you have, which I think you have backed up with an extraordinary amount of empirical and rational evidence. And if I understand it right, you're fairly embedded within the
The Peter Schiff Show.
Joining our program now is Doug Casey. And if you don't know Doug, he is a libertarian economist. He's a best-selling financial author and international investor, entrepreneur, and founder and chairman of Casey Research. They publish a monthly newsletter, The International Speculator. And most recently, Doug has produced a 30-minute documentary called Meltdown, which I watched just yesterday on the internet, and it's free. I would encourage everybody to watch it. It's a very entertaining half hour. Doug, well,
The Peter Schiff Show.
joining our program now is Doug Casey, and if you don't know, this video is brought to you by Brazil Resources, trading on the TSX Venture Exchange under the symbol BRI, and on the OTCQX International Market under BRIZF. Brazil Resources just announced an agreement to acquire 100% of the Cachoeira project from Luna Gold Corp. The deal terms imply BRI is paying $18 an ounce for gold in an emerging gold district in northern Brazil, located near. Try to make a big profit, and they buy the mining shares. And as of recent experience, they've been losing money. What is your assessment of the mining sector right now?
Well, as we speak in mid-July of 2012, I think it's very cheap. It's the most volatile class of securities in the world, mining stocks. And regularly over the
The founder and chairman of Casey Research is with me now. He's also the author of his most recent book, Right on the Money, and he's the producer of a new documentary called Meltdown America. Doug Casey, thanks for being back with us.
Well, it's always a pleasure, Daniela. Thank you.
Well, Doug, the theme of this year's conference is Big Brother here, and
we have Rick Hood, who is the chairman of the Scott USA, interviewing Doug Casey, chairman and founder of Casey Research. Doug's latest book is totally incorrect. Both Rick and Doug have been exceptionally prescient about the path that the world has taken. They understand how the world works and how human beings think. They base their understanding of the world on reason and evidence, not on superstitious faith. They speak their mind fearlessly, and that's what you're going to see now.
Perhaps essential, but most people don't do those things. Most people take English or political science. Most of some public is still
situation right now.
I think that we're still in for that.
One of these quantitative easings or stimulus programs, a lot of
We're 10 years through a bull market. This is year 10. I'm really trying to build something that has lasting. In 1994, we've invested 150 big lumps work out. These are only once, and you all.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Louis. My name's Merrick Katusa, and I run the energy side. And I'm going to give you a different perspective. This is a part 2 or an extension from last year. How many people were here last year during this talk? A few of you. I don't think that there's ever been a time in the resource sector where so much money is managed by so few people. And there's a conclusion that I'm coming down called the trigger effect, where
Hi, everybody. It's Stefan Molyneux, host of Conversations with Casey. I have on the line David Galan. Thank you so much, David, for taking the time to chat today.
Nice to be here.
So, we are 7/10 of the way towards fascism in the United States. I wonder if you could expand upon that. I sort of get a sense that that's probably true, but you have a little bit more than my gut instinct. You actually have some pretty professional opinions to work with on that.
Well, all the elements for fascism are in place. A good start and all that, but they'll get the first step. I mean, we've, just as an example, have something like 36 police
Implications in payroll, but I think what America's really facing are the long-term implications.
Well-functioning society.
Well, I think that the question really is what is it that individuals need when they're in a social context, when there's more than a desert island? And I think that in order for individuals
Hello, I'm Alex Daly. Welcome to another edition of Conversations with Casey. Today, joining us is the author of current...
How and why you decided to become a libertarian and then eventually an anarchist?
Well, I think my background is not terribly relevant. Normal middle-class boy from the south side of Chicago. But as far as becoming a libertarian and an anarchist, I started out, I remember when I was a kid.
We're continuing with our coverage from the New Orleans Investment Conference, and joining me now is Doug Casey, founder of Casey Research and the author of one of the greatest selling financial books of all time. Doug, thank you for being with me today.
Thanks, Daniel. Pleasure to be here.
So you came off a very entertaining panel right now alongside Mark Faber and Peter Schiff. Mark Skousen was chairing it. My first question to you, before we get into the details, is, are we doomed, Doug?
No, we're not doomed. As I pointed out, the future is not only going to be better than you can imagine, it's going to...
The best place to put your money is in real estate. Very interesting. The best your money is in real estate to live in a condo than to rent. Telling America that it is going into the dumper. That's a little flip, but it's pretty close to it, isn't it? I mean,
Well, so what we're going to have, first of all, to clarify that, we are going to have a depression. It's going to make the last depression look like a technical correction. It's going to look insignificant by comparison. So let me get that out front immediately. That's absolutely true. What I'm making on the book, because that's always brought up, is completely insignificant.
well, it's none of our business, too.
No,
It wasn't
that's-
accusatory, Mr. Casey.
No, I know that.
I mean, some of my best friends have written books.
No, but what I was going to say is what I'm making on the book is completely insignificant relative to what I've made on the investments in the book, and especially what those investments are going to be doing over the next few years, and that's the point.
Yeah. You, in effect, you say that...
So I've had this kind of number in my head, is that gold has really not risen much at all, because first of all, mostly mining. It's aren't worried about inflation because they don't ignite
5 years. What's it going to be like? And are you in the school where there ought to be an escape from the...
Hi, I'm Aaron Kachusa from Casey Research, and I'm here with our friend Eric Sprott. Eric, I'm going to ask you the tough questions because that's what our subscribers want us to do. Now, the first one we've got many emails on is, you're a big silver bull, you're a big gold bull, you're a legend in the business, no questions there. But you did sell a significant amount of the silver trust.
Yes.
Why?
Okay. Well, believe it or not, there are times, in fact, even today, I'm selling silver to buy precious metal stocks. I sold the silver trust to buy silver stocks. I'm selling shares in our company to buy gold and silver stocks. I'm selling even some art that I have to...
Venerable, is that to do with age, or is that to do with religious qualities? Perhaps I'll eventually move up to being beatified and then probably achieve sainthood. So, anyway, is the team all here? Yes, good. So,
boy, it's
it's not easy at the moment because let's look at what he's doing. First of all, I think tactically he's very, very smart in doing lots of stuff and doing it quickly. So he's actually outrunning these talking heads on the news networks. So, of course, and this is another misapprehension on the part of most people about anarchism, because there, as you know, there's two traditions of anarchism: basically the American tradition and the European tradition, which is mostly French and Russian, really. And people like Bakunin and Kropotkin, if you read their stuff about social things, they are totally sound, but it's like they have a bifurcated mind. It's very funny to hear yourself referred to as them.
Some other people would point to rising costs, both CapEx and operating costs. And they have been going up. That is true. That's been a drag on the miners, I think. As Frank Holmes points out, there's been a lot of share issues.
Our guest today is Marin Katusa. He's the chief energy strategist with Casey Research. I want to get his opinion on what is going on right now with this Russian gas deal with China and how it will affect the petrodollar. Marin, thank you so much for joining us.
It's my pleasure.
So Marin, let's talk about the petrodollar and everything that's going on in Russia right now. What does this gas deal with China mean?
Well, the first battle of the war on the petrodollar, America has lost. The Russians have won the first battle of the war on the petrodollar.
Greetings and thank you for joining us at FutureMoneyTrends.com. I'm here with Marin Katusa. He's the Chief Energy Advisor for Casey Research. We have several questions from members, wrote them down, and if you could only make one investment for the next 10 years, what would...
The following is brought to you by GoldSeekMint.com. Silver and gold bullion directly from the mint. GoldSeekMint.com.
Now, Doug, you recently produced a show called Meltdown America, which was a huge success, and you were portraying companies around the world that had recently experienced massive, crises.
Well, as shocking as it is the thing that it's going to be as bad as the
problem.
The average American, and by that I mean about 40% of the population, can't live for more than a week without a paycheck. Very good interview.
Well, I was going to say, watching that and watching you sitting there in front of this crowd that was, booing you, and you just sat back and you were so confident.
I think I always have. So, and I don't care what other people think or do. I just say what I like, because nature or nurture. And I'm a believer in nature. So I think I was born this way.
You say that, and it is a very interesting concept, and I give it a lot of thought. And there's definitely days where I go, Doug's got to be right, because all these monkeys, they never change. But then I see so many now waking up and changing. I've seen ex-military coming and saying, I'm an anarchist, government is evil, all the things they do is wrong.
Greetings and thank you for joining us at Future Money Trends Show. I'm here with Marin Katusa. He is an expert in the resource sector. You may have read his work, or regularly read his work, with the Doug Casey Research Group. It's kind of
Shut down infrastructure. Ship everything to China. He just
of stocks that are way overvalued.
Now that he's got the sheep lured in purity, he's trying to battle and we didn't have these conditions, right? He did not have these conditions. And it's just mind-boggling how anyone would.
Greetings and thank you for joining us at the Future Money Trends Show. I'm here with Marin Katusa.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Louis. My name's Marin.
We're here in Phoenix with Chris Martinson, the author of the Crash Course, which is a video, and now it's a book just came out. And Chris, I can't remember the last time I've heard anybody get 3 separate rounds of applause for a speech, but it was a great things like
opinions, beliefs out of the story. I think the data alone tells a really compelling story, and or you need steel. On the other side, we see we're going to discover something really important, which is that we can't get more and more out of less and less because of a shortfall in the amount of energy that we have available, particularly around oil.
So we're particularly concerned about petroleum.
We want whether it will allow us to transition disruption-free from
going up in the first place from 250 to 1900 is not only there, but has increased exponentially. The last thing you want in a crisis situation when things are really out of whack as they are in America today is to have the gold price going through the roof, because that is basically sending a message to everybody that something's wrong. Will create the basis for future inflation, and I think that the only thing missing in the equation, which will eventually.
It's really going on from an inflation perspective. So whilst we see the threat of deflation as measured by economists.
The following is brought to you by goldseekmint.com.
Live. I'm Vanessa Collette here at the Sprott Symposium, and pleased to have joining us today Louis James, Senior Editor of the International Speculator. Welcome, Louis. Great
Thanks.
to see you.
Happy to be here.
Now, Louis, you do a lot of on-the-ground site visits. What do you learn from visiting a project firsthand?
Well, the first answer and most obvious one is to try to separate the sh from shinola, because anybody can write in a press release, oh, we have this, we have that. I've been. Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for coming on down today. It's good to see you. We got a little bit off schedule with the companies, but there are some important questions you just got to ask, and I figured it was worth hearing the answers.
And speaking to a more recent trend, what are your thoughts on commercial drone funds and more specifically the commercial drone ETF?
Yeah, so drones are an interesting technology because they hit all the marks I look for in what we would call a disruptive technology. Right? They don't make mistakes, they don't get injured, they don't go off the job. So drones are running 24/7. So they give
Welcome to the economics meeting, special panel on investing.
Of Casey Research from January of 2007. I think it should be very concerning for all of you, and I'm sure you've discussed it all. I think I said talking about to a socialist economy. All that is not exactly some kind of guarantee of income. And then, so I there's clearly a lot of challenges. And what I'd like to just cover a little bit is what I think that you can do to start a successful business career. I don't think right now to go for the secure job in a Fortune 500, to go in investment banking, to go in consulting, and then kind of.
Hi, this is Shelley Kraft. We're coming to you live on SNN Live. We're at the Sprott Natural Resource Symposium, Vancouver 2014. I have Olivier Garay, KC Research, a private organization. Tell us what you do.
All right. Well, KC Research is basically a company that was founded by my partner, Doug Casey, over 30 years ago. We specialize first in the resource sector. We have over 40,000 paid subscribers worldwide. We reach about 500,000 free subscribers with our research. And in addition to having mining and energy division, we also do research in the technology sector and in global macroeconomics.
So you're a perfect person to ask this question. We're standing in a resource conference with all levels of resources in the hard assets. Tell me what's going on in the market.
Well, as you know, the market, especially the junior resource sector, has been under tremendous stress for the last 2.5.
Alex Daly from KC Research. Alex, thank you for joining me today.
Well, thanks for having me, Glenn.
The title of my talk then is unfixable. And what I'm referring to here is that I have this point of view, this way of looking at the world that
Welcome to the weekly Titans of Industry interview. This is our chance to educate ourselves, broaden our views, and take in new information from the top people in finance. Every person who is serious about creating wealth and committed to financial stability has a vested interest in tuning in and taking notes from
Greetings and thank you for joining us at FutureMoneyTrends.com. I'm here with Mary Katusi. He's the Chief Energy Advisor for KC Research. We have several questions from members.
I'm telling you, they're all clowns. Now, you can be skeptical and say, well, you know, you're just trying to make everyone sound bad, to make yourself sound good. Folks, I'm being honest. My honest opinion, I'm telling you that everybody out there is an idiot, scumbag, profiteer, crook, liar, and or loser. These people providing financial information, financial publishers, and so forth. This is after investigating these individuals, these websites, these companies for well over a decade. I was doing this research for well over a decade, because of course everyone is always looking for alternative viewpoints. Now, I happen to have worked on Wall Street and I had access to a lot of research. While I do not particularly value Wall Street research per se, I can tell you this: there's no comparison between Wall Street research